but you can't put them in your coffin when you're deceased, right? That's the ruling. Yeah? Any other questions? Yes? They say the deceased is aware of those doing the ghusl, yes. Yeah. They say the deceased is aware of those. And by the way, doing the ghusl is a form of forgiveness of major sins. So if you get the opportunity to do the ghusl, it's forgiving, it's going to remove major sins for you, inshallah ta'ala. So moving on to the shroud. Okay, so now the shroud, which is these, we got 5 for the ladies, yeah? Okay, so we got 5 here as well.
No, it's a come in box, one for male,
One for female. There's a female one set is over there. The coming box sets, mashallah, I didn't know that. You don't have to buy them in sets. You can just buy loads of cloth and cut you up into pieces and have it ready for your funeral. If you haven't got it ready, they'll buy one for you. So it comes in 3 pieces, and they're not marked probably, right? So let's just open them up. They're only different sizes, right? And the demonstration we're going to show you how it's done. I'm going to actually use these and cut them up. So I'm sorry. So this looks like the lifafa, which is the longest and biggest one. This one looks like the qamis. Yeah, this is probably the qamis, right? The shirt. We're going to go to the shroud now. It's already been cut. That's fantastic. Look, there's the head. It's a bit small, right? It's a small head, but you can obviously cut. This one is scissors for. You'll make it bigger so you get the head through. And you'll see that right? That's the head of the deceased. So try it on. It's too small, I'll be struggling. But that's the qamis for definite. And then this, it looks like pretty large. This looks like the lifafa and maybe the izar together. I don't know. If it's not 2, 3 here, then this will be cut up into 2 pieces. But yeah, I think there's one that needs to be cut up. Yeah. 2, let's have a look. Yeah, that's it. So that one of them is the lifafa, one is the izar, and one is this is the qamis, right? You don't mess it up now. That's for the males, okay? The female set is over there, so there should be 5 pieces, and Sheikh Al-Masheen will demonstrate how they're done. They have extra 2 pieces. One is called, so let's go through it then. You have a shirt, okay? That's called the qamis in Arabic. That goes from the shoulders of the neck to the shins, mid calves, that area. It goes down to the ankles, let's say. Then you have an izar. The izar goes from head to toe, okay? That goes outside the qamis. Then you have a lifafa, which goes from above the head to below the toes, right? So, a few inches above, a few inches below, 5.5 foot above, 6 inches, and half a foot below, 6 inches. They are the 3 pieces of cloth required for a male kafan, shroud. For the females, they have an extra 2 pieces, right? This on the next slide. That's on the sheet. Let me just read this one. Just go back now. Okay. So he says here, the material person would usually wear for Jum'ah, the shroud should be from his own wealth or his family. Incense should be burnt around it and permissible to scent the shroud. But what they often do is they put itar on like this is actually in the hadith, on the prostration places, right? On the knees, the feet, the hands, and the forehead, right? Where you do sajda on the shroud as well, on the body they will do it as well, on the shroud you can do it as well. Perfume the shroud. It doesn't matter if the colour of the itar goes into the shroud, it's fine. Right, so the next one, oops, let me sort this out. Right, this is it. So we've just talked about the qamis, the shirt. We explained it from the neck, the shoulders are here, to the ankles. Izar is the inner shroud which covers the deceased head to toe, the second long one. This was the qamis. Let's say this one, right, it's pretty long. This one will go from head to toe, and then there'll be a longer one, much bigger one, by about a meter or so, which will go from above the head, so it won't just be from head, it will be from above the head, half a foot or so, to below the toes, below the feet. That's called the lifafa, right? Young man at the back, yes. What's the piece of cloth called that goes from the neck to the ankles?
The shirt.
The shirt, the qamis. At the back in the corner. What's the one that goes from head to toe called?
Is it izar?
Yeah, izar. Majid, what's the one that goes above the head to below the toes called? Lifafa, okay? They've all done their part, right? Let me ask you. Okay. In addition to those 3 garments or shrouds for the men, there are 2 more for the ladies. One is called the khimar. That's the actual word for hijab, lady. The actual word in the Quran, and as many hadith for a veil, head cover is khimar. So it's called hijab. Khimar is hijab. For us in today's language, khimar is hijab. It says the veil, it means the head veil, by the way. Right? So khimar is the head veil. Alongside that, there's a fifth piece of cloth for the ladies, and these are much smaller. Head veil means for the head, and there's a third one, or fifth one called khirqa. Khirqa literally means a piece of cloth. Khirqa means piece of cloth, right? I used to clean, I used to wipe, or you just use a cloth, right? It's called a khirqa. And this fifth piece for the ladies is to tie around the chest area, okay? So this will be laid out with the kafan, and at some point it's going to be put around the body of the lady as part of the kafan shroud. It's not essential, but it is part of the sunnah, as Sheikh Anashim will explain to you when she goes through it. It says here at the bottom, it's hard to see, it is valid to use 2 pieces for a male, and it is valid to use 3 pieces for a female. That's like, if you haven't got this, we've only got 2 pieces, what do we do? How do we do it, right? Ultimately, as long as you cover the whole body even with 1 piece, that's enough, right? That's the absolute necessity. If you don't have that, you need to go and buy it, or you need to go and, get somebody to do it, right? You need to cover it. But if you haven't got enough, and you can't spend more than to get the rest of the parts or the garments, then you're allowed to do it with less. Right? You're allowed to do it with 3 of them or 4 of them, so for the ladies and so forth. Right? You don't have to have all 5. The sunnah is 3 for men, 5. If you just want to do qamis and izar or qamis and lifafa, to cover it, then fine, it's qamis and lifafa, right? It's done with 2. This is ideal, and this is what happened. I mean, in our day and age, we're not going to fall short of these items, right? So now that you've got all these pieces, 3 for the men, 5 for the ladies, how do we go about it? This is the theory. The practical is going to happen later. Or how did that happen? So this is for the men first. So it says a shrouding procedure for the men. Oh, this is a bit complicated. The ladies one's a bit easier actually, but it's a bit more color coded. Can you see these? Can you see that blue line here? See the one at the top? Yeah? Maybe a different colour would be better. There's a blue line here, a thick blue line, yeah? There's one actually in the middle there, behind everything, that comes out here, and there's one right at the end there, right? They're strips of cloth. They're strips of cloth that are put down before everything else, and they're used to tie at the end, if you need to tie, and you're going to tie at the end, right? So you put them down first. They're just like, I think we might have them, I'm not sure. Yeah, they're here. So these cloths, right? So you're going to have these strips of cloth. You're going to lie them out on the table like this. One below the feet, one in the middle area of the body, around the waist, chest area, and then one above the head. Right? These are 3 strips of cloth. What are they going to be used for? Tying afterwards. Fantastic. This is for the men, by the way, right? You first lay down. It's easy for men. You lay down the lifafa first, then you put on top of it the izar, and then on top of the izar you put the qamis, and you laid it out. With the qamis, so these will put out one, just pretend that's put out there. Pretend that's put out nice and neatly, right? Just pretend. With the qamis, you're going to do something different. You're going to lay half of it out. The qamis, actually, I should explain, I'll come forward and explain this. This is important. Although the practical is coming, it's important you understand this. The qamis is like this, okay? It's a double cloth. It's not a single cloth. These are laid out as one single cloth. Can you see this is double? Like if I actually open it up, it's 2 like this, right? There you go. It's double. I'm holding it like this, right? That's double. I know it's not perfectly. I messed it all up, but it's doubled, right? Why is it doubled? Front and back. Okay, perfect. Good answer. So when you lay this out, you get the head where the head's going to be at the top of the casket box thing, and like that. Can you see the head's going to be there? And you let the rest of it hang out. You're going to bring the body in and put the body in here, and the head's going to go through that hole there. It's going to be much bigger than that. That'll be a struggle. Don't do that to the deceased. It'll be very nasty. And then you're going to pull this over, and the body will now be covered, okay? Now during this time, that black cloth is still going to be on the, remember that black cloth, the blue one here? It's still going to be on the deceased. You're going to have people lifting this body too close to the kafan. In this case, you might need 6, 8 people to help you, right? And then, once the deceased goes into this will be brought back over. Underneath, you still have the izar and the lifafa. Izar head to toe, lifafa beyond the head, beyond the toe. And that's what's next, right? So let's actually go to the description here. It says, first place 3 pieces of cloth like strings. Next place the lifafa, then the izar in a shroud from the feet upwards. Now, meaning you lay it down like that. Now place the shirt. The shirt we've left open, not folded, so I've folded it. We've left open, right? This is the shirt, it's left open, yes? It's left hanging over the head of the coffin. With the hole cut at the head with half the shirt hanging over the coffin. You can fold it up, you can, keep it on a chair or put something behind it. It's just lying on the floor here, it doesn't really matter what you do with it, as long as you leave it open. What you don't want to do is you don't want to get here with your deceased person and then say, somebody quick, pull up the shirt because we can't put him in, right? You need to have the shirt down, otherwise you're going to put him on top of the shirt. You're going to pull the shirt out and then put it over his head again, right? Which is going to get really awkward. So always have it out ready for the deceased to be smoothly placed into the coffin. By the way, in the olden days it wouldn't be in a box, it'd be just on a flat piece like this, on a table like this. In today's day and age, they do it in the casket, right? This is how the procedure is today in the UK. The hanging half of the shirt is placed over the deceased, so the hanging half will be brought back over. So once the deceased is here, we'll bring this, wherever it's gone, there it is. Bring back over the deceased. This will be done, and then we'll take out that piece of cloth, remember, right? That blue cloth or black cloth, right? Now the body is covered with this. The cloth used for covering the aura is now removed. Apply balm, hanu, to his head and beard whilst camphor and camphor to the parts of prostration or fragrance on his bodily parts in absence of camphor or balm. You can apply anything. Balm is, just another word for perfume, camphor, anything you apply to the deceased bodily parts of the beard, of the hands, of the knees, of the sajda parts, right? You may write the shahada on the chest using your index finger, not literally with a pen, using that signal la ilaha. Somebody knows Arabic is good to be there, right? Illallah, right? Illah, and then Allah. That's it, yeah? You write on the chest as in just lightly press on the, the white thing. We don't have to, poke the deceased with it or write literally. And you're allowed to write on the coffin, by the way. Then it says, fold the izar, first left, then right. Why first left? What do you start with the right? First left before, then right. What's the reason behind that? What do you start with the right first?
Goes to the right side.
It goes from left to right. That's a good answer. Because the right is on top then. So this is the left. Remember the head is there. This is the left of the body. You bring the izar out. So the izar is first. You place it on this side. That's the left to right. And then you place the right to the left. So the right part of the coffin is on top of the left part. Then you get the lifafa and do the same thing. Right? I've lost the cloth and all that, right? But the lifafa would be the same. The proper demonstration we want to do it much more clearly for you, inshallah. Then there's now for the lifafa, left first, then right. Prepare face for viewing. Like I said, this part, prepare face for viewing, is if that's something that you're going to be doing in your masjid, etc. It's an if the norm, and turn it to the qibla. Tie the 3 pieces of cloth loosely. So now that everything's wrapped up, this is all wrapped up now. These 3 pieces, the ones here, right? Get this and get it with the other one. The end disappeared, right? Tie it up, get this end around. And remember, this will be at the bottom, that'll be at the top. You tie them up. So now the body's within the coffin, 3 shrouds on, and the covered, it's completely covered. What you can do is, like we said, is around the face area, open so the qamis will go to the neck. So the izar and the lifafa you can separate slightly at the head, so the face can be seen. You've probably seen it when you've seen somebody passed away, go and do the last visitation. You'll see that it's uncovered the head. What they do afterwards, as soon as everybody's in the ziyarah, they open the head, they cover it quickly, and that's it, they'll take it for burial. So that's what they do normally, if you're looking at the face. It is permissible to perfume the shroud. You want to perfume these before, during, after ghusl, doesn't matter, you can perfume these. It's not a problem. There's nothing against that. It's actually recommended to perfume the coffin, the shroud. And then it says shrouding procedure for a lady, right? So let's just quickly go through this. So this is a bit more clear-coded, like I said, but it's not come out brilliant, but the 2 red parts are the extra parts. So it should be totally in a different way. So that top part is totally wrong. But the middle one, the middle red one, is the khirqa. That goes over the chest area, and that's probably about right. The other red one, which is fallen out of place. Okay, it got twisted, somebody moved it. It should be parallel to that one, covering the head. Right? But if somebody thought that's how you do the hijab, so maybe they do like that. But it should be sideways as well, really. It's called the khimar, as you can see on the way. I was in the right place. But somebody's turned that rectangle, right? Don't be messing about my PowerPoint. Mind yourself next time, right? Jawad. But yeah, I think Apple don't like my PowerPoint, so they messed it up. But nevertheless, those are the 2 extra pieces, right? The hilqa over the chest area and the khimar, which is the veil. They're labelled there, not too clear to see, but they are labelled, all of these pieces. How are they put down and what do we do? This is the preparation of the coffin for the woman, right? It says first place 3 pieces of cloth like string. So these go down first again, okay? 1, 2, 3. Let's take everything off, yeah? I haven't got the extra 2 pieces, but you will have them over there. The Sheikh al-Masheen will take you through it, inshallah. That's what happened to this. Right, so these 3 are first. Then second is the khirqa, so the middle part. Right, let's go back one. Oops, on. The one that's in the right place. So the one that's in the right place is that one, the khirqa. That goes on the outside of everything. Right? So obviously these strips go before it, but the khirqa is at the end. Meaning it's the first to put down, because you're going to put them on in the reverse order. First thing you put on is the khirqa, which is the chest cover. Then it's the lifafa, right? The big thing that's going to cover everything. Let's go on to this. It says, next is the lifafa, outer shroud. Then place the izar, then the shroud. So ladies, what is the khirqa? Who can tell me? Because what is the khimar? Okay, what's the length of the lifafa? Not from above the head to below the toes. What's the length of the qamis? From neck or shoulder length to ankles. What's left? What's the izar then? From the head to the toe, right? These are the 5 pieces of cloth required for a lady's coffin, for the women. So the order is, we said these 3 pieces, then the khirqa for the chest area, then the lifafa, the long one, then the izar. I'm saying it just to remind you of these words and names, right? The izar, which is from head to toe, then the khimar. What's the khimar we said? The veil that's going to go over the face, right? Finally, the qamis has to be last. Why? When you put them in, what's the first thing you're going to do? Put the head through the hole of the qamis and cover them, right? So the qamis is last to be laid down, but the first to be donned or put on by the deceased, right? That you're going to, clothe the deceased in or shroud them in. The final place, the shirt we left open, not folded. So I'm not done it, but inshallah we'll do it, inshallah. With the whole, the head with half the shirt hanging over the coffin. You've seen it for the men, same thing. You put the shirt out, but you leave it open so you can put the head in and put the shirt back over the body of the deceased. It says the deceased is lowered in, ensuring the head is placed through the whole of the shirt. Like I said, you make it as big as you want the head, right? The head is like whatever centimeters wide. Add a couple of centimeters each side. Make it easy. The hanging half of the shirt is placed over the deceased. The head is divided into 2 and placed on her chest. Whether you braid it or not, I don't know. You have to lay that Sheikh al-Masheen, what you do with the hair. But it's laid on the front. The cloth used for covering the aura is now removed. Remember that cloth that we use for washing and drying? That's taken out because now the qamis is over the deceased body. Perfume the places of prostration, right? So the knees, the feet, the hands. You may write the shahada on the chest using the index finger, as we said before. Fold over the veil, so cover the veil. So how is it covered? Just cover the head. Like I said, you leave the face uncovered, you cover that as well. But obviously, if you're going to have a viewing, then you leave it so that it's not covering the face. And later on, you cover the face as well. Fold the izar, first left then right. So qamis is done, khimar is done, which is the veil. What's next? Izar, left first, and then right on top. And then you've got the lifafa, left first, and then right on top. And then you've got, it says you finally tie the khirqa around the chest. And you've also got these strips of cloth to tie from the top, middle, and bottom. And again, it says face for viewing. If you're going to view, like if that's the thing. Turn to the qibla as well. And the final thing is permissible to perfume. Same thing, permissible to perfume the shrouds if there's a, you want to do that. It is perfectly fine. Any questions on that? Yes.
The shrouding cloth, does it have to be white? Or
so yes, we said right at the beginning, it's sunnah to have white. The Prophet said, shroud your deceased in white. If for whatever reason you can't find white, blue, green, light colours are better. So you've got a light cream colour, a light blue colour. It's not against the Sharia to have those colours, but I've not known anybody except that they had a white coffin. Right? So white shroud is the standard procedure. You can, for this, the question earlier was, can you, what do the ghusl in Zamzam? Like I said, no, but you can soak these cloths in Zamzam. So for these, you soak them in Zamzam, and obviously they'll dry out, and then when you do your kafan, you can have the cloth. It's recommended to soak your clothes, your kafan, in Zamzam water, let it dry out, and then do the kafan. Don't put them on wet, of course. Let them dry out. Once they dry, obviously you might do that months before you pass away, years even. And leave. So you should have your shroud. It's a good reminder to have. Anybody do this? Anybody have their own kafan ready at home at the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah, mashallah, brother. It's time getting close. Allah give you a long, healthy life full of good deeds. A long, healthy life. Double what you are living at your age right now. Then when you get to that age, you have to go. Sorry. That might be 100 and something. But Allah give you a long, healthy life full of good deeds. But that's the thing. Get ready. See how you feel every day when you open the clothing and you see your clothing, you see your kafan. You've got your kafan ready with, soaked in Zamzam, all there. Maybe, and a lot of people, what they do is they use their ihram cloth. In the old days, ihram was this, by the way. Now we have the towel ihram and all that. You can get this one for ihram as well. I've done umrah with this cloth, although it's much easier to do it with the towel one. Some people use the ihram cloth that they did hajj with or ihram or umrah with for their kafan as well. Right? But nowadays they're a bit stingy with the ihram cloth, so it barely fits. So you might not fit your kafan because they don't make it that long anymore. They're rationing themselves, I think. So definitely get your own set of kafan now. Have it ready for yourself. It's a really good reminder for your whole life who you are, what you're doing here. But there's no questions. Then Janazah Salah is not next. Next is a break, practical. After the practical, we'll come back for Janazah and burial and questions. So now we're going to have just a 5-minute break. I think I'm over the time of break. No, I'm not too far over. 5-minute break. At 4:15, ladies will have the practical demonstration over there with Shaitan machine. And all the material there for them. The brothers will be over here and the practical demonstration here. We will need helpers and people, so you might ask for help. So just 5 minutes and we'll do the practical. And Shaitan machine has arrived at Any further questions can be asked in the next couple of sessions, inshallah. Or during the ghusl. It's a good time to ask, especially for ladies. If you want to ask Shaitan machine any particular questions, it's a good time to ask. Have you got any scissors over there?
Ismail.
Just throw them on the floor if you want. No scissors?
Scissors.
I'm sure I asked for scissors.
There was scissors there.
There were scissors there. Okay, imagine I've got pretend scissors in my hand like this, right? So then if you want to get the clothes off, you cut off the arms, you take it off, right? Cut off the arms here. You can just slide the clothes off. You don't, the clothes, if they're not valuable clothes or anything, then just, you can cut them off. If you want to, preserve them and etc. Obviously you can take them off slowly by taking off the head, taking the trousers off. At all times this will remain covering. If it is going to move, so you just have to help us say, look, hold on to it while I pull the trousers off. They'll hold on to this while you move the trousers down. So this has to stay on top at all times. And you guys stay on call for anything that's required here. If I say to you this, there's one person leading, by the way. In all of this, there's going to be one person leading, and everybody else is helping that person. He's bring the water, he says do this, bring the bin, give me this, give me that. He'll always, follow the lead of that one person. So the first thing, let's go back through the slide of what we talked about. What's the first thing we're going to do now? So let's say we've taken off all the clothes, any earrings if they're in there, or anything like that. It's all clean body now, nothing left. What's the first thing we said we're going to do? Use the water to do what was the first thing? Istinja. Okay, the first thing is that. So there's the lota bucket. We've got a jug from the kitchen. It's a good jug, but it's not the one we're going to use for the ghusl, right? Probably use a lota that you fill up from a bucket if you haven't got a tap or something like a washer thing that they have. So it's not wrong using a jug, it's probably normal. Helper one. There you go. Sorry, asif. I need the gloves. So we should all have gloves on, really. I'll put them on. Should show them. Guys, get gloves on, probably. Because you might need to help with stuff, right? Asif, grab that. Let you put the jug down for a second. Just make it part of it. Or look the part as well for our online viewers.
Shade, you want the apron as well?
Yeah, apron as well.
You mentioned earlier about the if there's no access to water and so forth, the person's disease and so forth. Would you skip all this because obviously
so if the person is not in a condition to be washed, right? Can't use water on them. There is rules for tayammum. So just like in life, you can't do ghusl, you do tayammum. If tayammum is possible, then what you do is just dust hands up to the arms, dust face. Ghusl is done, and you move on to the coffin, okay? And if you can't even do tayammum, which may be the case, Qadi Sahib was telling us when they went to Greece, and you know, the refugees that had passed away there, been martyred there, they were too decomposed to do anything with their bodies, so they were basically just wrapping them up in the coffin, praying the janazah, and burying them.
Clothes
Clothes off, you take all the clothes off, you put the coffin on, obviously you cover the private area. Some are even decomposed to the bones, as you were saying, because they've been there for several months. They're really sad about it. So that's the situation. So we're doing a normal situation where there is a ghusl, there is a coffin and so forth. Aprons, how do the aprons work? They go over the head ones. Yeah, they go over the head ones, yeah. So these aprons, you just open them up like that. Oh no, they're not like that. That's it. Alright, tie it on the back. Bismillah, go on the front. If I say fun as well, make him look the part. You want to help him tie it? Just give it a shake and it'll come out together. Yeah, thank you very much. We'll do yours. That's it. Put that on your head. Turn around. And pretend the paper. Right, that's it. You're going to throw this away afterwards anyway, right? It's going to get all the water and everything on it. So don't worry about looking after it, right? So, Bismillah. Turn around. Go for it. We've got all the time in the world. Turn around. Yeah. That's it. Give it a front. Front time for him. Don't leave him in the ledge. Well, so this is what you're going to look like. So we've got 4 people. It could be 5, 6. Might be 3 of you, right? So the first thing we said was the ghusl. For the ghusl, we need the paper towels. Where's the paper towels? Is that them? Just get them off the table. They're on the table, I think. Any form of paper towel. The normal one is the roll. Yeah, have a roll of paper towel.
There's a roll there.
There is a roll there. Yeah. So it's in the bottom. Yeah. So this is a loo roll, which is fine as well. It's fine. But normally you do
something like a sponge. Yeah.
You could use a sponge that you're going to dispose of as well. Everything you're going to use, you're going to dispose of. So just bear that in mind. So what we'll do now is we're going to do the istinja. How are we going to do the istinja? Left hand, right? You're going to lift the body slightly forward, okay? You guys can, what they say you can do is lift the legs up as well. So if we did that, I'd probably kill it, yeah, we'll probably. So we won't lift the head, we'll leave the head. But normally you can lift the head a bit as well. It's going to be supported. By the way, that's going to be supported by that block here. There'll be a metal block there. So you're going to lift, what I'm going to do, you can put the water as if, me and Asif going to do, I'm going to wash, but they're going to lift. So you guys lift slightly, as if you're going to lift the cloth and put water around the genitalia area, yeah? And I'm going to do the ghusl. So you won't see it literally, but I'm going to be doing the istinja. So you guys lift. Help him, he's going to lift 2 legs. It's not automatic. So no, you from that side you can pour the water. So you'd lift this slightly, don't look underneath, and you get the jug in there. And I'm going to say, yeah, pour over the area, right? You pour over. And then with the tissue, I'm not touching with my hands, I've got a glove and a tissue. I'm going to wipe over the genital area. Pour underneath, like keep on pouring from the top, right? I'm going to wipe under. They're lifting it slightly so I can reach under to the rear of the individual and wipe under there, right? Once I've done that, I can feel it actually now, it's well done. And once I've done that, in the bin. I'm going to have a bin next to me, or there'll be a couple of bins. Get it away. You don't want to hang on to things like that. Just get it away. Don't look at anything. It's gone, right? And then maybe another one. We'll do it again. So I'll get some more tissue. Fresh tissue, yeah. Again, pour some water. As if right, pouring it and wiping it again. That's it. And obviously, I can see what's on it, and I'll get rid of it. And once it's clean, I feel just like in normal life, you feel you've done the job, you cleaned it, you've done that, right? So that's istinja done, right? You can slowly let this person know. Remember, you have to respect the body, etc. And every time you use some tissue, cloth, whatever, throw it away. Okay, so you can use sponges, you can use all sorts of stuff, just throw it away once you've used it. What's the next thing we said? Istinja is done, what's next? So mouth and nose from the start of the wudu. So this is where we need these, so what I'll do is, by the way, the water's going to be pouring off, they've got a system. So I can say, just pour some water on that please. You pour some water on that, I'll just, we won't have pouring water on it, it'll be stream water, and then we'll do that, right? And if you can get in, and not put the head off, right? Then just on the mouth, and if you can go in a little bit, throw that away. Yeah, get another one. Or get me the other one that you can put in the nose, earbud things. So you can use this for the nose. So a lot of people, what they do is just thin it out, and they make it smaller, right? Like that. They wet in it and they put it up the nose, right? You can just get this. Yeah, wet this, moisten it, and use that in there. It's much easier with this because obviously most nostrils are going to be about that size. And get fresh water, so you can pour a bit of water on there, right? on this. So that's the mouth and nose done. And like we've got a bin there, I can throw everything away. We're not going to want to give it back. It's fresh stuff, right? Right. But imagine if you're getting rid of everything. So get rid of everything. You don't want to keep it lying around. After the mouth and nose, what's next? And we'll do what we do next. Your face. So Bismillah, just wash his face. So obviously eyes would be closed. Let's close this guy's eyes. Imagine the eyes are closed, right? Bismillah, as if just pour water on his face. And I'll just wash the face like that. Just like you normally would. You be nice and gentle, you don't go, yeah, I didn't like you, didn't like, Chalo, don't slap the person up. We obviously gently wash the face, just like you would in wudu normally. You don't let the head fall off. Right, so you wash it like that, make sure you wash it all. The face, you don't have to wash behind the head, you're washing the face as in the wudu. So from the forehead to the chin, from earlobe to earlobe, you do that 3 times, right? You can pour water again, that's it. Yeah, wash it like, imagine water flowing on there, right? Just like that, nice and, rub it, slice it off. Yeah, that's it, yeah. Once that's done, you've washed the face. What's next? Arms, right? So from the arms, so what you do is you'd come around here. You could do it from that side, but obviously you're going to go through there. And you'd lift it yourself for me. If not, you can't. The helpers are here, so you guys could come and say, lift the guy's cloth for him. Then he could do that. Not from there, man. No, just from this side, because you're washing this arm, so you relax. So you put it on there, and I can wash here. By the way, if I want to do this myself, and they have asked it, let's say we just have 2 people, I could just do this, right? I could get that and hold it there, pour it, and use my arm, right? But it's much easier if you've got somebody like Asif and an extra that's pouring, and I'm just wiping the arm. And obviously, I can even look at the arm. Arm's not aura. Okay, so if I want to have a look at the arm and wash it like that, I can. Right? But I don't really need to. I can feel it. Clearly feel the elbow. Clearly feel the fingers. I can feel it all. I know water's there. I can feel it. It's done, right? 3 times, right arm. Go around that side. And then this time, Bilal would lift that up. Now, I would walk around this side as well this time. I don't have, one person doesn't have to be the one that washes the whole body, so they could do that side. But preferably, one person should do the whole thing. It might be the son, it might be the brother. So Bismillah, you lift. Just lift the cloth. Bismillah, so he's putting on the arm, right? You come down with me. Come down to the hand. Right, you start on the hand, really. And go up to the elbow, right? That's 1. And come down again. Pour again. That's 2. So we wash the arms now, right? That's the arms washed, okay? What's next? After in wudu, what's next? I wash the arms.
Feet.
Masa, yeah, masa. So masa, Bismillah, just water. We'll probably do it on the side, right? We wouldn't do it on the top of the body. There you get water, moisture in it. And then all we do with the masa, just like in normal life, you do this, and then go around the ears. Just do that for the deceased like that. Go back there, down the ears. So you can do that if you want. It's a bit hard to do it that way, right? So you do it this way. You do it like this, without falling off there. Use the right, and then you go around the ears as well, and then wipe the neck as well, right? That's it, that's the massage on. Then you move over to the feet, right? This would be a bigger table where the feet would be within the metal area, but Bismillah. And again, the feet don't need anything help. The cloth's not going to cover the feet. So the right foot first, just pour over it, wash it through, right? You get 1, twice, 3 times. The left foot, 1, twice, 3 times. Job is done. That's the wudu done. What's next? Ghusl, right? Where's the bucket? Have you got a bucket? You not got a bucket? Doesn't matter. Have you got a bucket? If you grab a bucket, because I want you to take the water out. Pass me the camphor, please. That's it, yeah, the broken stuff. That one as well, yeah, all of it. That's it, yeah, that's it. So, like I said to you, camphor is a substance, right, that is used in mothballs. Why? It repels insects. It's got a nice deterrent to it. It's a nice smell, antiseptic kind of smell. There's different forms of it. This is like the mothball type one. It's quite thick and like mothball. This is a more brittle, soft one that you'd put in the bucket, right? So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to put it all in there. If you all want to have a look at what camphor is, this will go into the water as we're washing. We didn't show you that at the beginning, I thought I just remembered. So that would go into the water at the beginning, and you'd use the water. That's lukewarm. So you get the taps ready and mix them. You get the shower head, you get it ready, and you get the temperature right, and then you use it in that way. And you keep on checking the temperature so it doesn't go too cold or it gets too hot as well. So then now we've done the wudu with that water. We get some fresh water from the bucket, right? And we start doing the
Move the body to the left.
the ghusl. Okay, the ghusl starts off from the head all the way down to the bottom. So Bismillah, Asif, you got the best job in it. So Bismillah, wash the head. Again, you don't have to get water into the mouth, so don't. Sometimes what they do, I forgot actually, is give me some, 3 of them. What they actually do, they actually fill this with the cotton bud. So have one there, So then when you're washing, you don't need to worry about avoiding water going down these places. Yeah, so this, because they're blocked now, this is done after the washing of the mouth. So these will be constantly there. So when you're washing the head, the water splashing there, it's not going to go into the body, into the mouth and nostrils, etc. So they're permanently left there. You take them out at the end of the ghusl, okay? So we've done that. Now we're going to do the body. So if you're going to come around, how we do the body here, it is no official procedure, right? You just got to wash the body. But often in the books of fiqh, it says that we're going to wash the right hand side first. So Bilal, you need to come forward. Give the bucket to them so they can have a look at it. See the comfort. What Bilal is going to do is he's going to lift the body from this side. So you're going to do this plan. You're going to get the body, and you might need two people. You're going to get the body and you're going to lift it up like this. Yeah? And the head goes as well. Leave the head off if you want. Yeah. So once you lift like this, there's enough room to go at the front. So for 1 second, leave it. Right, so you're not going to do it from this side. Which side are you going to do it from? That side, but not yet. What we're going to do first is wash the top side. So Bismillah. I don't need help with this. Just get water, put it in the chest area, wash the shoulder, down the back as much as I can, under the armpits. All this time I'm not really going to look, I'm going to feel. I can feel it clearly, you know, obviously it's the body. Wash, keep on pouring, that's it. When I'm asking to pour, I'm going to say, pass me the soap, yeah? Give me the soap or something. There's the soap, yeah? If they had shower gel, right? You can add rose water. I think that's rose water to the water as well, make it smell nice. I'm rubbing it, right, putting it off, getting the water. It's all happening, all washing. Now when I want to wash the right side of the bottom, this is where you're going to come in, right? So you, from there, you know, because you stand here, right? You're going to do this, you're going to lift it this way. So from here, grab this side. No, grab this side. From that side, grab this side, yeah? And lift the body up. Yeah, that's it. You hold it from that side if you need to, yeah? And when you lift the body up, it gives space here now. You won't tilt it 45 degrees, you tilt it probably about there. You don't need to tilt it, because I can get all the way to the side almost now. Right, so now what? Water. He puts water there, I'm washing the back of the body, right? Wash it all the way down. You know, you're going to touch the buttocks, you're going to touch the body, it's going to be your family member, but you need to wash, right? Obviously, if it's going to be an area where it's sensitive, you can get some tissues and use that instead, right? You don't want to get too physical. And then all the way down, then you put it down, right? And then you wash the rest of the body here to the leg. Below the knees, there's no aura, so you just wash. And then we'll go around the other side, and we'll do the same, yeah? So if we're on the other side, you guys would come here, it might be two of you lifting, and you'd lift from this side, yeah? And we'd wash that side. Once that first one, that's one wash. So we did the head, we did the upper body below, the legs on both sides, right? The second time, you can add more shampoo, so you can start shampooing the hair, right? You can put shower gel on the body and rub it around under the armpits, so you can soap up the person as the water's going on. And then the third time, let's just rinse off now. So Bismillah, let's put the head back on. Right, so Bismillah, we're rinsing. Mind this soaped up shampoo, yeah, it's not skinhead. Bismillah, Sif. So he's putting water on there. I'm washing all the shampoo out now, right? Getting it out. Like I said, don't go too hard, you might pull hairs out and stuff. So, go out like that, get it out. Right? Make sure all the soap is out of everywhere. Right? All the soap off everywhere. Right? This will have the cotton buds in, like we said. So we need to worry about the water. Obviously, don't splash water on the face anyway, but just. And then we come down the right hand side, rinse off everything here. Obviously, it's aura now from. Aura, this would actually be about here. So you could keep the chest uncovered. Right? This would probably be about here to about here. That's probably about what it would be, right? Obviously, it's better to have a little bit of leeway and go up a bit more, so leave out that much and that much, right? Probably a bit more on the bottom as well, like that. But that's the aura. Aura is, what's the aura?
Navel to the...
Aura is the private area, you're not allowed to expose to anybody else. And it's from the navel, which is that belly button thing there, all the way to up to and including the knees, so at the bottom of the kneecap, basically. That should be kept covered throughout the ghusl. So this part I could actually wash with my hand by looking at it, because it's not aura. No harm in looking at that. You can have it out at the gym, Qari Saab, it's okay. You can show your pecs at the gym. Pectorials are not aura, mashallah. But the abs, half of them are, half of them aren't, so hide them. Right, so again, from this area when you come here, because it's parallel to this, it's aura. I can't look at the side of it either. So for this, if you pour water, I'd have to keep it covered and just feel the wash, yeah? Also do that. And then that's it. Once you've done 3 of those washes, you have done the ghusl. It's finished. Now this is all going to be drenched, by the way. This is going to be like dripping wet. There'll be water. And then when you have a shower, how you're wet basically, you get the towel, start drying yourself. So this is when the towels come in. Where are the towels? There's one there. These are towels you'd have. You probably have bigger ones than these, Qari Saab. Yeah. These won't do much.
Definitely.
Yeah. But for our purposes, they're perfectly fine. what you do is, just like normally you start drying here, right? You can, 2-3 people can dry, doesn't have to be one person. You start drying here. Obviously you leave this on, you don't take this off at all. You start drying as much as you can. Now remember, it's going to be water everywhere, so if you're going to keep drying in this spot, it's going to get wet. So what you actually would do here is you'd move to another space, and there's plenty of space in the places, and you'd move this body to a place where
That's what we do.
it's dry.
Yeah.
Yeah? And then you do the drying there, and then at some point, what you do is, let's get the other blue cloth. Right, me and Bilal, we're going to hold the cloth. So if you get that there. This is a dry one, right? That's a wet one. We're going to place it on top. You two are going to pull it out. One person will pull it out. Keep it above bit. Pull it out. That's it. And then we pull this down. Right, now this is a dry piece of cloth. It's not wet. It's going to, it might get a little bit wet because there might be some moisture on it. It doesn't matter if it gets a little bit wet. You might see a patch get wet there or wet here. It's fine. It's drier than, much drier than that soaked piece of cloth. And it's covering the aura. In this time now, if you do see something wet, you keep on drying. Keep on drying until it's fully dry. And now the body is ready to be placed into the kafan. The ghusl is done. Any questions on the ghusl that you might have right now? Do you think you could do that if it was your relative? Yeah? I'm sure you could. It's just that you've never done it before, you don't feel confident. But trust me, when you're there, this theory goes out the window anyway. Like, oh, what's next? But you'll be able to do it because it's just a ghusl. It's just washing the body of the disease. This idea of tilting it this way is just to help you to make sure you wash everything. But the goal is simply to do istinja, to do wudu, and to wash the whole body with, protecting the mouth and nose, protecting the aura, and making sure you do a proper ghusl, like you would in your everyday life, right? You want to do it proper. Once you've done that, you dry and you get ready for the kafan. That's it. And obviously the things like using camphor, burning bukhur, so there'll be bukhur burning around you, that's fine. Bukhur is this stuff, yeah? That's bukhur, yeah? You put the coal in there, you put it on it, so it gives a nice smell, wooden, and you use all the props that we use. Let's say you can add rose water, you can add camphor to the water. It's perfectly how you want to do it. It's all your choice. Like I said, if you haven't got this stuff, it doesn't happen to be there. Just pure water is fine. It's water. It's ghusl is water at the end of the day. Any questions? So then what we do is not here, but very close by. Usually it's in another room. But very close by because you don't want to move the body around, right? It's usually next door, like a few meters away. But it's not in the same room. They have the kafan ready. So they'll have the casket, and so that's what we need to do now. We need to get the kafan. So with this, what we would do now is we get rid of all this, right? Can I rip this, Khalisa?
Yeah.
You rip this stuff like that.
Go for it.
Hulk Hogan, right? It's gone. And you chuck it in the bin, right? All this goes in the bin, right? And you get everything off. And you go to ghusl after. Ghusl after is mustahab. For the washers, ghusl is mustahab, right? You shouldn't do it really, it's a good practice. But the next stage for us is to take the body into the kafan, yes.
What if someone's got incision or something like that? They got cut somewhere.
Good question,
and
of
it
course,
keeps
to go over
bleeding.
that. Did you have the tape? What's that? What's that? No, that's just plastic bag.
Well, could be internally an organ is blasted or something and then it keeps pouring out from the mouth.
So that's what I'm saying, if you've got a big incision or opening, that's where you have the surgical tape and bandages. What you basically do is you do your best to keep it closed. Literally, if that means getting stitches done, you get stitches done. Whatever you need to do, you do. That's a necessity. Like, normal everyday life, you get a cut and you have to wear a bandage and you can't take it off. What do you do when you do masa or you do wuzu? You wipe over it. So when you're doing the ghusl of that person for that area, you won't get the water involved. You just wipe over. With your glove on, you get water, moisture, you just wipe over the area. But not over the physical area, over the bandaged area. So what you do first is you bandage over the areas. So I forgot to mention that. At the beginning, you bandage over the areas that are injured, wounds, kind of thing, and you wouldn't wash them. You wipe them during the ghusl. So you're going to be, obviously some people's ghusl has to be more careful because of those injuries, right? This is a very normal, everyday situation. The reality is that, like you said, there's going to be injuries, there's going to be wounds, there's going to be openings. For those, you've got to deal with them as best as you can and avoid rupturing them and causing them to flare up again during the ghusl. Be very gentle, don't pressurize it, don't anything, leave it as it is. Because if it's a fresh body, the blood will still be there, and it could come out and bleed a lot and stuff. And that happens after somebody passes away very, first few hours, especially. So don't sometimes ghusl is done very early. Don't rush. Don't be sensitive to that and don't cause any more problems. But that's what you would do. You just stop it from bleeding and carrying on stuff. Because that like we all know, there is blood in the body. It doesn't all dry up instantly. It takes a few hours and days. So you want to avoid that to kind of cause any problems. Later on, if the body's not been washed for a while, you won't really find that the blood would have all stopped kind of thing. dried up kind of thing. They will have put chemicals in by then, preserving it somewhere, etc. So it's a bit easier to avoid that kind of problem. But a lot of the times, if you do get the body with injuries and you're going to wash it, be careful of the point that we mentioned. Any other questions? So now this body.
What if
yeah.
a person involved, like for example, an accident or something, has got no limbs?
So if it's got no limbs,
What?
depends how much of the body is missing. But they say if there's more than half the body, so if you're missing an arm or a leg, that's fine. Then you do the ghusl and you do the kafan and you do the janazah, everything. If it's less than half the body, so imagine if you just got legs, right? His torso's gone, everything. Just you know, the person died, we just found his legs, nothing else, smithereens, right? Unfortunately, if that's the case, then what you do is you do the kafan of the legs and you just bury it. There's no janazah even, right? You need to have half the body or more. And what they say is half the body, including the head as well, actually, because that's the body for janazah and ghusl and so forth. Yeah. So if you find just the head and have more than half the body, like legs upwards, then you wash it, put them in a kafan. Obviously, it'll be smaller and be a lot more difficult, but obviously you've got to deal with that situation. And you do the ghusl and janazah. But if it's no head, just half the body or less, then it's just bury the body parts. There's no official janazah and so forth. Yeah. So one body limb is fine. In terms of the ruling, nothing changes. But with severe loss of body, then we'd have to look at the amount and stuff.
Just the head. That's missing.
If it's just the head, you got the head again. You just do the burial. You wouldn't do any janazah. Just the head. You need the body with the head. Yeah. At least approximately half the body with the head. If it's a head and a leg, for instance, not enough.
What if the body has got an illness like AIDS or anything like that?
So if you've got illnesses where you shouldn't touch the body, or it's hard to be close to the body, then again you wouldn't perform ghusl or tayammum. You just shroud the body, read the janazah and do the burial. So there are cases where people have very bad diseases or conditions where you can't, washing them, touching them would be detrimental to him or her or yourself even. And in those cases you don't do ghusl.
There was a case in Peterborough, he had an AIDS,
They didn't.
Yeah, 30 years ago, my family members, when they were coming from London to they all crushed and died, you see, and the whole body parts were put together.
Yeah, that's
we
what
didn't know which
we
part
didn't know
was-
who was who because it was such a bad thing. Yeah, that's what happens because we don't know what part belongs to whom and etc. You just put it all together and
Exactly. Then found out afterwards, 9 members of the family were coming together.
and then okay, right, okay, that's a brief. Sad things. Any other question? Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to transfer the body to the coffin. So if I could ask for the coffin to be brought, that's here. Let's transfer the body to the floor. Let's put the body on the floor. This won't be on the floor, of course. You don't do that with the body. You always keep the body on the table that's designated, and there'll be enough tables designated for that, don't worry. But for the time being, if you guys could just put the body on the floor, right?
Take the table away.
We'll keep the table. We're going to do the coffin on the table,
Yeah, okay.
inshallah. So what goes on first? The strips. One at the top. This might not be big enough, this table, to be honest. Can we get something joined onto it?
There's one was
What about that one there? Should we just turn it?
Yeah, if you just join that with it, if you push this way and join that, and then push all this stuff to the other end. Carefully, there's a jug there, carefully.
The legs.
The leg.
Legs are gone. Push that, the front, push the leg. That's it. Fantastic. Take it nice and slowly, like I said. Don't rush. Right, so let's take it. So the strips first. One above the head, not under the head. One in the middle area. Where's the third one gone? There you go, thank you. What's your name? Ismail. Thank you. The third one, roughly, according to that dummy, probably be about here, I don't know, right? About there. So what goes down second? Lifafa, right? So grab hold of that. Let's just measure which one is the lifafa. That's the qamis, right? That goes down last. If you get some scissors and cut that, or make somebody could just rip that bigger, make a bigger hole for the head. That would be helpful. So grab that as well. Right, now let's see which one's longer. That's the lifafa. Okay, so which one is the lifafa, guys?
The longer one.
The longer one, yeah, the front one. Okay, so this is the izar. This is the lifafa. What goes down first? Lifafa. Let's put it down nicely. Grab it, Asif. And just don't really fall over. But go over that side. That's it. Put it nice and calmly down. That's it. Yep. Carefully, that's it. Perfect. So that's the lifafa gone down, right? Next was going to be the izar. So same with the izar. Just that way. So grab it. Grab that, Asif. Nice and easy. Bring it further down. Bring it lower than this strip, basically. You go there. And it's going to be longer, but it doesn't matter. That's fine. We'll deal with that. Right, so that's the... And the qameez, did you sort it out?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So how's the qameez going to go down?
Open it.
So, let's say the head is that way, right? So we put it down like as we would normally, right? That's how qameez is going to be. Then what we do at the top end, what did you say? Open it and leave it behind. So we're going to open that and just throw it over the end, right? There you go. So your opening is here. That's where the head is going to go in. Yeah? Have we all understood? So now let's bring the body. So now obviously this is this body. Stop there. That's it. Perfect. Perfect. That body is going to be on a table there. So you're going to have people on both ends. You're going to have people on that side, and you're going to have people on this side of the coffin table. So there's two tables next to each other. Now nobody can stand in here. Okay. So the people on this side need to be strong. People on that side need to be strong because they're going to pass the body into here and they're going to put it in here together, right? So we need a person here, right? Imagine you're the guys at the ends, right? At the sides, we don't need anybody. You might do so. Should have you at both ends. So you're going to pass over to. Oh, let's get the head out of the way. Let's get the head here. Right, so the head is there, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to bring it across, hand over to us. You're going to keep hold of it. Now you just go back, right? You can't move forward. Why can't you move forward? There's a table in front of you. Yes, you've got to pass it over and hold on to it. Don't let go. So pass it. Okay. So can't move forward, Bilal. You just walked into a table. And pass it over. Pass it over. That's a heavy body. Imagine if this is a 20-stone guy. You might need 4 people on each side, right? So you slowly. Listen, load him, guys. Load him. Oh, slowly through the head. That's it there, right? And somebody's going to be supporting the head. So the guy at the top will be supporting the head. So while we're doing all this, there's somebody supporting the head. And let's get it in properly. A bit how lift it up there. Right? And then we lay it down so keep it level all the time. Lay it down slowly into the coffin, right? Lay it down, you go all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. And there we go. Right, give it perfect. There you go, you dropped it. Right, that's it. So now we've got the person in the coffin. What's the next thing we do? Get the head. Right, go for it then, pull it over. So this cloth comes and you just pull it over like this, yeah? And that's about like, yeah, to the shins, middle of the calves. So this is the qameez done, right? That's how it's supposed to be, okay? What's next?
How do we remove?
Oh yeah, so the next we remove this, thank you very much, Fran. Just pull this out now, no problem. Yeah? And throw it away. You can keep that because they'll wash it and use it again. Because it's a good piece of cloth they have in the funeral places. If you want to get rid of it, they'll have more. What's next? From the right first or the left first?
Left first.
Left first. So the left of the deceased is that side. So we get the izar, which is the first cloth. So if you guys, the helpers, who shouldn't be in their gear anymore, Bilal, shouldn't be in your gear anymore. Here, you don't want any of that. You want to get rid of all of that and come here. There might be other people that come and help at this stage as well. Some people don't get involved in the ghusl, they come and help in the coffin. So don't worry for the new people. So you guys are going to pass over. This goes over the head, by the way. You're going to pass over equally, so at the same time, together, pass over to us. And we're going to, this usually is a bit longer and it comes down to this side, right? So you probably need to put it on balanced, yeah? So it covers the face. It'll cover the face from head to toe, right? That's it. Then we will pass them this side, okay? So this can go in a bit more. So you can push this in to make it all firm, right? Like that. This is the qameez I'm pushing in, okay? Right? And then you take this side and you pass it over together to them, right? And again, they'll put it down and around that side, okay? And again, if you're going to show the face, what you would have done during this process is just kept a gap like that, right? Afterwards, what you're going to do is put the left first and the right first and cover it afterwards, okay? There goes the head. So what's next? At this point, I forgot. You can put the Atar on. So when you put the qameez on, after the qameez, you can put the atar on the knees, on the hands, on the forehead, right? But you can always do it at the end. It doesn't have to be done now, right? It can be done. There you go. So even if we did it at the end, it's fine. So we did this. Right? I'm going to give you guys are going to give us the lifafa now, yeah? Lifafa goes over, and this remember is going to extend to beyond the head now, as you can see, yeah, and beyond the toes. should name the toes, but we got the wrong one. Did we put the izar down first?
It's longer from here.
So it's longer from here. Maybe we put too much at the top. Yeah. So we're going to pass you this, right? And we pass it over. Keep it uniform, like equal, and you put it down like that, and that's it, right? This is done. Yeah. Now we've done the whole kafan. Okay, this is the whole kafan, 3 pieces in the order. The person is, the kameez is on there. This is the face. You don't have to have it open. You don't have to show the face. If you were going to remember, all you do is you leave the left part over and the right part over here. And once you've seen the face, they'll put the left first, they'll put the right first, right? And you just make it all even, and they'll stop, right? And then we can tie this here. So what you do is you just get this, and you just tie a loose knot. It doesn't have to be really tight. So you don't have to go really tight. That's about that much is fine. You can do it a bit tighter. It's fine like that. And you tie this, right? And this just is to make sure that nothing slips out or anything happens. Similarly from this side. Oh, I've taken that. Again from this side. This is a bit short. It won't work, right? This is probably one of the end ones. Because the end ones don't need to be long. The one in the middle needs to be long. So this was probably the other way around. If you did this one here. So make sure that you remember that. There'll be a long one because it goes around the whole body. And there'll be 2 short ones because they don't go around the body. They just go above the head and below the legs, right? So this is the longer one. We'll do that. So if I can grab it. That's it. So this one roughly we've got here. Take this way. Up. Pull it through here. Tie that one. Well. And then this one again will be below the feet. Just take it down further. We've missed the feet by a bit, right? But you wouldn't because they will be measured and sorted out in the kafan itself. And you tie this here like that. Yeah. And now the person has been washed and shrouded and ready for the janazah prayer. Without the body, there's no janazah prayer. Question: how long do you think all this would take in a normal, experience? An hour?
30 minutes.
It could take half an hour. It could take 20 minutes. 20 minutes is a bit quick. 45 minutes probably average. An hour is probably about right. Half an hour to an hour, depending on how long you take, how many people there are to help, how vigorously you clean. But it's not going to take you 5 hours or 4 hours. It's going to be an hour process. Hour and 10 minutes, whatever it takes. Around approximately.
Asking the writing on the chest.
So it's writing on the chest here. So here, now that we're in the kafan, on the chest here, from the right to the left, you start. The chest is about this. The chest right here. You write la. So you write in Arabic. Ilaha. Illa. Allah. Right? La ilaha illallah. And you can put Muhammad Rasulullah. So Muhammad Rasulullah. Right? So you don't write with a pen. You don't write anything physical. You just write as an inscription with your finger, shahada on the chest, and that's it. Right? Yes.
Sheikh, some people actually sell a kafan that's already written on.
Yeah, no, that's disliked to have kafan with writ. So what they sometimes have is on top of the kafan, they put a cloth with the name. Now that it's washed and clean, you can do that. They put a cloth with like kalamas on it and stuff. That's okay to have as a for temporary. When they go to do the burial, they take it off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. But the one that's the shroud itself shouldn't have any writing on.
Because I remember buying a kameez once with for the kafan,
Yeah.
and it had a
La ilaha illallah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
written on it.
It shouldn't be written or embroidered or anything on there. Sometimes they do that, but it's not
That's
valid.
makruh,
It's not
yeah.
good. Shouldn't be done here. Shouldn't be because you're going to bury the name of Allah writing with the deceased person under the soil, etc. It's just symbolic. And the hadith is symbolic. It doesn't, can't take it beyond that. Any other questions?
On the toes, they tie both of the toes.
Yeah, so they tie the toes together. So these 2 toes, you can't do it on this one, it's double. But they'll join them together and they'll tie a bit string between the toes so the legs don't split apart. That's correct.
So everything they use for tying together at the time of burial, would they be removed?
That's right. So for now, we're going to keep it as this. We're going to take it to the masjid for janazah or outside the masjid, the hall, whatever the janazah is. We leave it like this. And we transport from the janazah area to the graveyard and keep it like this. As we're approaching the burial, we will undo these, right? Undo these and take these off. So there'll be no cloths, there'll be no strips tied at the time of burial. These are only to preserve the body from anything going wrong during the transportation to the graveyard, to the janazah, etc. These are only temporary measures. They will be removed before burial. Yeah.
So, Sheikh, for the sake of knowledge, like people watching online too, when we doing the kafan for the women, obviously there's going to be 2 extra ones.
Yeah, so
When
the 2
would you-
extra ones which we haven't got the cloth for, but what they would have happened was, at the very beginning, before laying down the lifafa, what would we have done? we would have put down the, not the qamis, one of the names called the khirqa. The khirqa was for the chest area. That would be the first piece. The first would be these, right? Obviously. The first piece of cloth of the kafan, these are temporary, right? Would be the khirqa, okay? Then it would be the lifafa, then it would be the izar, then it would be the, no, himar, the head cover, and then it would be the qamis. Qamis always goes last, because it's the first thing you're going to put on, right? So it would be the order for the ladies, for the knowledge, for say, would be khirqa, which is you put around here for the chest area, would be lifafa, izar, from head to toe.
So lifafa goes on top of the khirqa.
No, lifafa first, and so lifafa goes on
It goes in
khirqa.
reverse order.
Yeah, reverse order. You put it down in reverse order, and then you put it on in the order that's the first one that's there. So yes, lifafa goes over the khirqa, thank you. Then izar over the lifafa, which is slightly shorter from head to toe. It goes from below, instead of going beyond head to toe, it's about head to toe. And on top of that is the khimar, the head covering. So you put that here, so when you tie it up. And on top of the khimar is the qamis, which is from neck to just the shins or whatever we said, right? And then when you put the body in, first it's gonna, and you leave the qamis open. When you put the body in, what happens? You close the qamis. You take out that extra cloth that we had that was protecting the aura. Then you do the hijab, the khimar, right? Tie it over the head. There's no tying, you just fold it right, left, right over there. Then you fold the izar, left first, then right. Then you fold the lifafa, left first, then right. Then you will fold the khirqa, the strip, right? And you leave that there. Then you tie these on at the end, and that's the ladies' kafan done.
So
The ladies' kafan has two extra pieces. One you put down first, which is the khirqa, and one you put down just before the qamis. So the qamis is the last thing to put down, it's the first thing on. After that, it's going to be the hijab, or the khimar is called. That's going to be the second to last to be laid down, the second to be put on.
So the khirqa is going to go over the chest area.
Yes.
And would you tie it from there?
You don't have to tie it, so you wouldn't have to. It's not going to be like a thin piece of cloth. It'll be pretty wide, so you won't turn it over and tie it. Just one there, and leave it like that. This would be on top of it. So this would keep it in place.
Yes.
And this would keep that in place. When you leave these at the end, again, that khilqa would remain where it is during the burial. Obviously, in the burial, you need to make sure nothing moves around and stuff. But it should be a decent sized piece of cloth that when you fold it over, it folds over and tucks in. It folds over and goes beneath the body. You shouldn't keep them. You shouldn't be stingy with the kafan.
Yes.
I should give enough for it to fold over properly. Sometimes I've come across kafans that like, how do you do a kafan with this? It's like the shirt just barely goes to the knees. The outer lifafa doesn't cover the whole body. Like we got to join the lifafa and the izar together to make it one really. Because so you make sure the lengths. This is pretty good. This one here, pretty good, mashallah. I think it's fine, to be honest. This is the kind of length you need. I think Qari Sahib said this is a pack that they give.
Everything comes together.
With everything, all the...
So I think just the towels on this one will need a bit more bigger towels.
Yeah, do the towels come with the pack? Or
Yes, they come with the pack.
They fine, like I said, they do the job, but it would be better to have bigger towels to make it easier, It's fine, they're not wrong or anything,
So you mentioned these are sunnah. These is 5 pieces and 3 pieces for the men.
Yes, that's right.
What if someone didn't have that? They didn't have as much cloth.
Yeah, so we said that earlier, that if they haven't got it or they can't afford it and so forth, then whatever they can manage. At
Even
the
if
very
it's one piece.
At the very least, as long as the body is covered and you can't see it, that is the requirement, right? But it's better to have a couple of cloths at least. So one cloth for the touching the body, one cloth around that. So izar lifafa without qamis would be okay. Qamis with the lifafa would be okay. It's not wrong just to do that even, But if it's a necessity, then obviously you're gonna have to do the best you can. But if you haven't got enough kafan to cover the body, then you need to go and ask for more. Even if you haven't got money to buy it, it's not available. You got to go and find some kind of cloth. Even if it's the cloth of your home somewhere, your curtain you need to pull down to cover the body. Then if you haven't got enough cover, then you need any material will do.
I think in the after the battle of Uhud, that's what took place. They didn't have enough.
They didn't have enough at that time because they were at the battle. So they covered what they could, and then they covered the rest with actually grass and stuff. Because they didn't have any. So that's the principle. We won't probably ever have a situation like that, but if there was, you cover what you can and you bury, cover whatever. Use plants to cover, leaves to cover the rest and bury them.
I was in Pakistan and there was a relative of ours who died here. They took the body to Pakistan. And basically, it was like in a wooden coffin.
Yeah.
But the face part was glass and you can see his face. And they buried him like that. So
they didn't cover the face?
No.
So
did you know the
So sometimes what they do is,
Because it was, I think, properly closed.
Yeah,
They
so-
put in coffin can't open it.
so sometimes I think they have one
Yeah.
where they have the sort of glass opening, but on the glass opening they have a cover that opens and closes. So if they just close that, and they bury him. It's not ideal still because the sunnah is this. This is the proper way.
Yeah.
You don't have nothing on top.
Because his
So by
face
the
was
way,
open.
we don't traditionally in Islam we don't have anything. We've got
They do
this.
the balm and they take
You know,
the-
today you have the casket thing, right? They
Yeah.
put it in there. And that's not Islamic. That is from. But it's low here, so you can't bury without that here. So they have to have that, right? So obviously we do it in that. But normally they do. This is exactly what they would do. They would put this on the stretcher. They would carry this to the graveside,
Yes.
and they would to lift this actual body like we lifted and place it in the grave. They would feel lifting the body. Now today you have the ropes and you have the beer thing, right? And you don't feel the body.
No.
In the olden days it was the body. They put the body in. They tilt it towards the qibla on the right hand side, so they
Yeah.
actually bury it like this, like
Yes.
that. They would put slabs here so it wouldn't fall back, and they wouldn't put soil on top of the body. They'd put soil in the grave.
Yes.
You know that the body was to one side
Yeah.
and the grave was filled there. Now what we do is we lie them down straight, head's gone in, and we basically cover them with the box and we throw the soil on top, which is not the sunnah.
No.
It's valid. It's not haram. This is, you know, it was done among certain Muslims, but the Prophet said. اللحد لنا والشق لغيرنا والشق لغيرنا. Lahad is the grave that you go down and into the side.
Yes.
So this is actual digging of the grave. Then there's a little chamber here. Just imagine this is the grave. You actually bury this here. And then you're buried in that part. Then you fill that part up. This is the qibla and they're facing that way. Whereas the shaq is just this. There's nothing extra, just a hole. You put the body in like this and you put they do put slabs and stuff over the coffin. I'm not saying they put it on the actual body, but they put the slabs on and they fill it up with soil. That is not haram or wrong or anything, but it's not the sunnah. The sunnah was to do it in this particular way.
Sheikh, sorry, you said obviously you tilt the body one
Yeah.
side. You don't put soil on the body.
No,
I
no,
don't
you
get
put
that.
slabs. So imagine if we tilted this like this, right? It's tilted, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, it's not going to stay like that. It's going to fall. It's going to fall down or forward. So what they do is they make it into the wall so it can't fall forwards. I mean, it's covered as well. And
Or
behind,
it's underground. They plug
Yeah.
it, so there's going to
there'll
be
be
soil.
a chamber.
Yeah.
The
I
chamber.
saw in
chamber.
Saudi, they do it like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. They
Grave
make,
and then
so when
they
this
build
is the
chamber.
grave, right? And then they make a chamber like
Chamber
this.
like that, yeah.
So they dig inside the
Yeah,
grave.
take it inside the
But
grave.
that's also soil there. Or
They've taken out the soil, yeah.
They've taken it all out.
The soil's around, of course. You can't escape the soil being around. But the area is basically completely free.
Okay.
They're making a chamber inside the hole, basically. This goes into there,
Yeah.
and they don't put anything in that. Don't fill it with anything.
All right.
They put slabs to close it off, and then they fill the rest of the grave with soil. That makes sense? Is that understood, that concept? Yeah. Okay. Any other question? So for the burial itself, what you do is, we don't talk about the janazah now, but after the janazah, the burial is basically, you lift from the side of the qibla, so the body would be on this side. You pass it to somebody who's facing the qibla, I mean the qibla is that way, and you pass it them, and they'll lower it down, right? And then they'll put it down and tilt it towards the qibla. It was sunnah. What they say now is, they turn the deceased face slightly towards the right, because you're going to be facing them all. Turn their face to the right before the burial, and that's like them facing the qibla. But in the olden days, they tilted the body, like you said, and slapped it off so the body wouldn't rock or anything, it'd be still, and then they fill the grave. So for our day and age, you just put it down like this. Slide to the right doesn't mean like bend their head like that. It just means slightly tilt it to the right, like maybe a few centimeters. That's enough. So they are facing to the qibla when they're lowered. And of course, we can't guarantee that our graveyards are going to be made towards the qibla, but they should be. We should try and get that done. And that's how you know where the qibla is. By the way, one way of finding out the qibla is go to the cemetery of the Muslims, and where all their heads are facing is the qibla, right? So if you go to a Muslim land, you can figure out the qibla from the graveyard, because they're all going to be facing towards the qibla. If you didn't know where it was. So that's how we do the burial. It's very straightforward. You take the body, lower it down. You'd have people in the grave to take the body and lower it in and place it. They'd slab it up. So again, that would be written, I want so-and-so to be the ones to lower me into my grave, and so-and-so, and etc. And if there's nobody written, obviously family members have the right. Once they've lowered it in, put it in there, slabbed it up. Even if it's just normal procedure we have today, you all know the procedure today, you've probably witnessed a few burials. Then just do that, and you put the soil on top. Once the soil's up and leveled, then you do the Quran on the top of the grave, at the bottom of the grave. You do a dua and you disperse. Somebody can't stay behind from the family members, etc. There's various opinions of what to do after that. But that's basically it. Once that's done, the person's gone, and you make your du'as and you do your recitations, and that's the rights for. Once the burial is done, the rights are fulfilled. Other than keeping making du'a for them, and so forth. There's nothing else you can do physically or anything. Not that they're buried, and that's the last kind of time you'll have is burial. Is basically that's the last time you'll ever be that close. After the burial, they're 6 feet below and can't dig them back up and stuff. That's it.
What happens if the burial is done wrong way, you know, and it's not...
Again, if the burial is the wrong way, the burial is the wrong way around, within 72 hours, you can dig up, turn them the right way, and fill the grave. After 72 hours, they say you shouldn't disturb the deceased.
Well, in Bolton, you know, there are about 50 graves, you know, they get buried wrong way.
Right.
They then found out, you know, so
How long ago?
So this thing about...
And they actually turn them around? Or did they?
some of them they found, some of them they don't, you know, the council didn't do because they found out, you know, the mistake what it has been happening. You know,
Yeah.
what about the community, you know, I mean, they were not very joined, they were, you know, everybody is...
So if it does happen and just so
But
much
you
time
find
passed,
that Even, you know, they now realize.
yeah,
But the remaining about 50, you know, I mean, still, they're the
you
50.
shouldn't really dig in. Islamically, you can't dig them up now and turn them around and stuff like that. It's too long. It's been years now from what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yes, it's too long. If it's realised straight away, no problem. Do it straight away because it's fresh. It's literally been hours. So let's get in there and do it. You know, it's their right to be facing the Qibla. It's their right to have a ghusl. It's, you know, if you've left something in there, kind of thing. You know, it's okay. But after 72 hours, they say it becomes makruh tahriman.
There's one body in Rochester been buried, you see, right wrong way, and because the family were, you know, mostly all English oriented, you see,
Okay.
right, and they didn't have no knowledge of religion, you know, but then the people they say you buried it wrong
Wrong
way,
way, yeah.
so the council had to
Dig up and change.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's done quickly. No problem. Any other questions? Yes.
In the first is it you can check the block.
Yeah, so normally, like I said, they tilt the body itself, that'll do the job. But obviously, because we're burying flat on the back, you just tilt the head here, whatever it's going to fall off it there. You tilt it slightly towards the right and the Qibla. Yeah? Like that, for this is straight, you just do that, that's it. You wouldn't do that. Like, don't pressurize the neck muscles or anything, just slight to the right. Any other questions or regarding the ghusl, the shrouding, or the burial?
Can you bury two people in one grave?
So you can bury two people in one grave. You can bury them next to each other, or you can bury one, fill it in, and then bury one on top of that. Yeah,
It's been done in Rochester.
yeah, you can do that. So often, when I was in Syria, they did that. They used to dig up graves, but not fully down,
Yeah.
and then you know, like maybe like one grave 6 foot, they dig 4 feet.
Mother and
And
son.
they, yeah, the people ask you to bury in the same grave as their father, mother. They bury the other person, and then they fill up from there. And that's how. So you can bury two people in the same grave.
We did the whole family.
Or you bury them all together,
Yeah. but
separated
then
them
with slabs.
with slabs, and then put the soil on top.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can do that. That's fine. Sometimes
How many-
if they bury at the same time,
Mm.
they'll be buried alongside each other because obviously you can do that.
Yeah.
But if one's buried 10 years ago and then the next one's passed away, then they would just dig not too far down, but on top they'd bury the other one. That's
Mm.
allowed as well. Yeah. Especially in places where there's lack of space.
Yeah.
And we never know in the future, they might happen that we start digging the graves previously. You dig halfway down and start using them from before. It may happen in Syria. It happens because they've got obviously everybody's a Muslim that
Exactly.
passes away, so the graveyard. Actually, we're going to start. They've got plenty of land as well, but you know, it's a case of getting the land. So we're actually thinking of starting a new graveyard like 5 miles out in the city, in an area, because everybody wants to be in the city graveyards,
Exactly.
obviously vegetation and so forth. But yeah, there was a bit of an issue there with that in the city, I remember.
So with the people getting buried in the same grave, how many people can get buried?
As many, probably 2, 3. 3 is probably the max, I reckon, but as long as the space is there, it's fine. You know, in Saudi, they actually dig the whole grave up. So they bury somebody, they dig the whole grave up again, they bury somebody else. And they have a time, so they can't, once somebody's buried,
Yeah.
they can't dig up a grave for X amount of years, 2 years. After 2 years, they dig up the grave, there'll be nothing there, because you know, the soil in, the heat and everything, the body decomposes very quickly.
And
They put chemicals in as well to get it all rid of. So because they have so many people die there and etc. Martyrs,
I saw
mashallah.
it in Makkah, you know, they
Yeah.
burying that.
But there was a story of one sheikh, they dig up his grave from Syria, I remember. There's been a few stories, but one of what he told us,
His body was-
the son went and he was looking for his father's grave. He passed away during Hajj. And he said, you know, when he found the grave, and the worker said, how do you know this grave? Who is it to you? Where's my father? He goes, I've got to tell you something. He goes, what? He goes, your father passed away a few years ago, right? He goes, yeah, and he went on Hajj, now I've come to visit him and so forth. He goes, we dug up his grave last year. after a few years, and we were going to bury somebody else there. We dug up his grave. He was as the day we buried him. Fresh. Nothing had changed. So the Saudi, this is what they do. They put an order, not this grave is never to be dug up again. So there's certain graves in the graveyards, they're not allowed to be dug up because they've seen that. They won't tell people about it. Because your father is one of those people whose grave cannot be opened. Basically, it's got to be, because they don't want people to see that and know about that, right? So he said, obviously it's a great honor for him, the son, to find that out. And obviously he came back and told everyone this is what they told him about my father's grave. He was a scholar from Damascus, I forgot his name. But that happens sometimes. Obviously, the prophets' bodies don't decompose, awliya and so forth. And pious individuals, scholars, hafiz, Allah protect them and they'll be honoured in their graves, inshallah. Yeah. So sometimes they don't decompose, so you can't use that grave, you can't dig into that grave. You can bury on top of it still. If you don't dig fully down, you can still bury on top. But sometimes in Saudi they dig fully down and do a new grave, fully down, new grave. It's like, factories there.
Yeah.
They're used to going back and forth with the diggers and stuff, right? We don't see it because, they do it, kind of quickly and stuff. But they do it, You can actually go and see it because they do it all the time. So we more often we see the burial rather than the digging of the grave. You can go with the janazah and you can help bury it and stuff, carry it there. Any other questions?
There's two types of burial, lahad and shaq.
Yeah, so we said lahad and shaq. Lahad was the one explaining to Zafran, where you go down and you make a chamber and you dig out more soil basically, and you get rid of that and take it out. And then you tilt the body into that, and then you fill the rest of the grave with soil. And the shaq is when you just basically dig down, put the body down there like that, slab over it, and fill it with soil. Yeah, if I can show you a diagram here, thank you. So it's dead easy. This is it. So this is the shaq, right? Magical diagram. That's it. You dig down, you put the body in here, you slab it up, and this is soil. That's the shaq, okay? That's the shaq, okay, shaq. The lahad is you dig down, right? Imagine the qibla is that way. So this is the qibla. You make a chamber here. This is the ground. This is all dug out, by the way, right? You bring the body down and you tilt it towards that side, and you'll be facing that way. Yeah. And then you fill that up with soil. You slab it up, sorry, as well. You slab it up there, and you fill that up with soil.
Will they ever make a double, like one on each side?
Could you do one that way? Because the thing is, you've got to face the qibla, so you would have to put the body in and face it this way. It's not impossible, but I've never heard of it happening. It could happen. I'm not saying it's not technically possible. But, what you could do here is you could dig, you could place the body here and face it that way. Put the body here, face it that way. Put the body here, face it that way, and then cover that and fill it in. That's possible. That's what they do when they put multiple bodies together. They put them in like that. But they wouldn't go too far in here because it could all collapse.
Yes.
Is there a minimum depth that you'll be digging?
So normally 6 foot, that's the thing. This is 6 feet under, 6 foot. Your height. They say your grave should be your height.
No, but is that, I guess, is it obligatory? Is it minimum?
No, sunnah. So as long as you're below the earth by a reasonable amount, because if you wait too close, them lions and tigers that come around, they come and dig you up and eat you basically. So it has been known that animals come and dig up graves and eat the flesh of the deceased. So hence you go further down. And the sunnah recommended amount is the height of the deceased. Now if somebody's a midget, obviously give them a bit more length. But normally it's 5 to 6 foot, isn't it? So that's roughly the size, the depth of a grave. If he's 7 foot guy, give him 7 foot, don't worry about it. And
the shaq is permissible, isn't it?
Shaq is fine. The shaq is what we all have. We are all most likely to be in a shaq, guys. So if you want a lahad, start making preparations. Tell them, look, I want a lahad. What's the legal requirements for it? And I don't know what it is, to be honest. That's what you have to do in this day and age. In the UK, I'm sure in other countries they allow this, and there's more sort of legal. But
You said the lahad is for
it's for us, and the shaq is for us. Then as it's recommendation. It's not an obligation. It's not an obligatory act. It's better, it's much better to have the lahad, the sunnah. Prophet is buried in lahad, alayhi salatu wasalam. The Sahaba are buried in the lahad. The actual Sahabi that came before his name, he dug the grave Prophet, he dug the lahad grave for the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. And most of the Sahaba as well, if not all of them. But being in a shaq doesn't reduce your status probably.
Mr. Yidi has been buried like lahad, mashallah. He made his own.
Some
so you can
places,
dig your own grave, you can go dig your own grave and get ready for yourself.
they say in some places is impossible to have a lahad.
Yeah,
Because
that's
of
what I
the-
mean with the soil as well and the conditions. And
Yeah.
So that's what I mean, you got to find out what the system is and do they even allow it. Or in the UK, I doubt it because the soil is not that good. And it's not, Allah Alam. I've never known anybody in the UK to bury the lahad.
Yeah.
I've never known anybody. It's all shop here in the UK, as far as I know. Any other questions? We shall have a little break there. 5 minutes, we'll come back for janazah. So Bismillah, the janazah salah. Okay, so Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The funeral prayer is a communal obligation. So again, just like the ghusl, praying janazah has to be done by some of the community, okay? The one with the most right to lead the prayer is in the following order. The Sultan, which is the leader, the judge, who is the official ruler in terms of decisions. What I mean by ruler as in decisions means everything to do with your daily life, like feuds, debts, Ramadan, marriages. This is the Qadi is appointed to make those decisions, right? He's appointed by the leader, of course. The Imam of the locality of your local masjid. And number 4, a guardian. More practical in today's day and age is the local Imam and the guardian. So they'll decide amongst themselves who will lead the prayer. Often if it's a pious individual there, they may ask him to lead the prayer, or a family member is often stipulated by the deceased anyway. The deceased might stipulate somebody. If that person is not there, the local Imam decides and he will take prayer. Because it'll be in the masjid, it'll be organized by them, and it just makes sense to allow them to take the responsibility at the time. So what is the janazah prayer? The janazah prayer, how many prostrations in janazah prayer? No. Excuse me? Sorry. None? MashaAllah, who taught you? Whoever taught you correctly, MashaAllah. How many ruku in janazah prayer?
Not one.
None. No ruku and no sujood. No sajda, no ruku, right? There's nothing. How is that a salah? You don't pray, you don't bow to Allah, you don't prostrate to Allah. What do you do then? It's a dua. Salat al-janazah is a dua for the deceased. You do stand, you do congregate, you do face Allah, face the Qibla, sorry. You do takbir, and you do, and that's the obligatory part. The obligatory part of janazah is what? The 4 takbir, okay? You're going to say Allahu Akbar 4 times. If you don't say Allahu Akbar 4 times, you haven't done janazah prayer, okay? So the most important part of janazah is to say Allahu Akbar 4 times. A common question comes, can ladies pray janazah, okay? Can they, take part in janazah salah? Ideally, no. It never was done by ladies in the early days by the Muslims. But technically, if they stood and did the janazah prayer, it's not invalid or wrong, right? Because it's just Allahu Akbar, following the Imam and praying the janazah prayer. So ladies won't attend the janazah prayer, they won't join the janazah prayer. But technically, there's nothing to stop them, right? But it was never done. So it's a practice that was never done by any of the early Muslim communities. So this is for the men really, but it's good to learn about the janazah prayer. So what are these 4 takbir about? So when you stand and you say takbir for the first time, it's going to be after your... So when you say takbir the first time, what are you going to do before you make takbir the first time? Intention. You can't start a prayer without an intention. What's your intention going to be then for janazah? I'm going to make intention of janazah for the deceased. So you have to, like I said to you earlier, that without a body there's no janazah. Some of the brothers ask, what if there's only half the body and so forth? The ruling is there needs to be the head of the body plus half or more of the body. Okay, so if you just got the legs of somebody or the torso, you can't do janazah. Right? There's not enough. You need the head with the body to do janazah. Without a body there's no janazah for the deceased. There's just burial and du'as. Right? The special du'a of janazah is not carried out. After the first takbir, the intention of praying janazah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the deceased, Allahu Akbar. You can't say, and often you're told to say with 4 takbir, fard, with the rood after the first one, or the sana after the first one. All that is just said to remind you. You don't have to say, your intention is just start the janazah for the deceased person in front of us. You don't even have to know who it is. You just have to do the janazah for that deceased person in front of us, because there's going to be there might be more than one, by the way. You can do more than one janazah together, one in deceased person. So after the first takbir, you followed by thana. What's thana? Anybody know what thana is? Yes? Subhanakallah. The one you read in your normal namaz, your normal salah, is the one you can read in janazah. There's a little extra bit they put for janazah, which is, what is it? وَجَلَّ ثَنَاؤُكَ وَلَا لَا غَيْرُكَ. So if you want to add وَجَلَّ ثَنَاؤُكَ, you can add that. If you don't add وَجَلَّ ثَنَاؤُكَ, you just read سُبْحَانَكَ اللَّهُمَّ بِحَمْدِكَ وَتَبَارَكَ اسْمُكَ وَتَعَالَى جَدُّكَ وَلَا إِلَهَ غَيْرُكَ, that's fine. You're perfectly fine to read that. If you add جَلَّ ثَنَاؤُكَ, excellent. Yes, Qari sir, you got a question?
There's a question people say about reading Fatiha, that there is no Salah without Fatiha. Do
Good
you have to
question.
read Fatiha?
So after the Thana, do you read Fatiha like you would normally prayers? Yes or no?
No.
No, right? According to many of the scholars, there's no Fatiha in Salat al-Janaza. And the hadith that says, La salata illa bi Fatihatil Kitab is for the obligatory and sunnah prayers, not for the Janaza prayer. With the proof being there's no ruku, sujood in this prayer. So it's not like with the prayers. It's not like you have to read Fatiha. Although some scholars said you do read Fatiha, so they will read Fatiha. What I've been told and you can do is read Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, Malik Yawmiddin with the intention of Thana. Because what's Thana? You know what Thana means, by the way?
Praise.
Praise, glorification. So when you read Alhamdulillah, what are you doing?
Praise.
Praising. When you say Malik Yawmiddin, what is it? It's praise. So if you read the first half of Al-Fatiha, by that time Imam will say Allahu Akbar anyway, because he's going to go into Durood Sharif, right? So you can read the beginning of Fatiha if you want to, as praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it is praise, it is hamd, it is thana. But it's not required. What's required is Allahu Akbar, the thana is sunnah. You see Allahu Akbar after the thana, Imam will say, by the way, janazah is a congregational prayer only. There's no janazah by an individual, okay? It's a congregational prayer, meaning in a group, in Jamaat. When the Imam says Allahu Akbar, you will say Allahu Akbar. Do you raise your hands? No, you just say Allahu Akbar. And then when you read after the first, second takbir, Durood, I heard somebody say, Durood Ibrahimiyya, any Durood Sharif is fine. The one in your normal namaz, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim, innaka Hamidun Majid, that's perfectly fine. Then after reading Durood Sharif, you will say Allah, Imam will say Allahu Akbar, you will say Allahu Akbar. Do you raise your hands? No, then you read what? A dua. Again, you read any dua for the deceased in Arabic. And of course, there are certain du'as that are recommended and were given by the Prophet ﷺ for the janazah. The most famous is Allahumma gfir li hayyina wa mayyitina wa shahidina wa ghaibina wa saghirina wa kabirina. In the dua, another dua, Allahumma gsilhu bil ma'i wa thalji wal barad. Allahumma ba'id bayna wa bayna khataya wa kama ba'at bayna al-mashriq wal maghrib. O Allah, wash the deceased of their sins just like you washed a cloth full of stains. O Allah, put a distance between the deceased and their sins just like you made the distance between the east and the west. There's many du'as you can actually make at janazah time. Allahumma abdil hudaran khairan min dari, or give him an abode better than this abode, or jiran khairan min jiranihi, and neighbors better than their neighbors. There's many du'as the Prophet made at this time. You can make, and there's many du'as anyway. If you don't know the specific du'as, you can just read Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina adhaban nar. Any du'a you know in Arabic, you can read at this time. It's a time to make du'a for the ummah. So it's not, although you make it for the deceased, and these words that I'm mentioning are actually for the deceased, there's no harm in making dua for the ummah in general as well at the time of the janazah. It's a dua, remember, right? And in your duas for people, you always end up mentioning everyone else. And there's nothing wrong in janazah to do that. Then after the dua, you will say, the imam will say, Allahu Akbar. And the imam will make however long dua he wants. I've been in janazahs where the imam does, 30-second dua. I've been in janazahs where the imam has been quiet for 3, 4, 5 minutes to make dua for the deceased, right? So it's up to the imam how long the dua is. Obviously the imams know duas, and they can read a lot more du'as than others. And they may want to do that for their deceased because they might be close to them, might be a scholar, might be somebody special. So they want to make more du'as for them. It's the doors open for du'as during janazah as long as in Arabic and it's from the Quran and Sunnah type du'as. After the fourth takbir, then the Imam says takbir, you say takbir, and what do you do next? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah with the Imam, and then your janazah prayer is finished for the deceased. And then you go and take the body for burial, right? That's the next step. Once the ghusl was done, you did the kafan. From the kafan, you brought the body to the janazah gah, or the janazah place. It can be in the masjid, it can be outside the masjid, whatever. Once you perform the janazah, you take the body to the car, or to the graveyard, you transport it, and you get ready and you do the burial, right? There's no delays between these things. There's no need for a wait around, what do we do next? You just carry on to the next stage, and you bury the deceased. Yes, Khalisa.
When should you let go of your hands? Because people do different things when they do
after
salam.
second salam, really. So you say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, then you stop. Some people do Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, drop one arm, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, drop second arm. You don't really need to do it that way. I know people do that. But really, when you finish prayer, normal prayer, when you put your hands on your lap, you say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and then you get up, you walk around. So when you do the second salam, then you can break your hands and you go. But people, some people drop the right hand first and left hand first. It's not a problem. It's no problem. Yes?
Is it permissible for the Salatul Janazah to take place in the graveyard?
The question is, can Salatul Janazah take place in the graveyard? The question really should be, can the Salatul Janazah take place in the masjid? Because that's the big one differed over. Because the Janazah in the time of the Prophet ﷺ was never prayed in the masjid. It was always prayed next to the graveyard. So what they normally have in most Islamic countries is next to the graveyard they have the Janazah Gah, or the Musalla is called. And that's where they pray the Janazah before the burial. Since you can see the Janazah and the burial are going to be instantaneous because it's next door to each other. Now, as time developed and cities developed, Muslims spread and so forth, especially in the West and so forth, there's no place like that. We can't go to a graveyard and pray Janazah there. They'll be like, what's going on here? They're starting the whole procession in the graveyard. It's not accustomed, there's no licenses to do this. So what most people do now is they pray the Janazah in the masjid, they transport the body to the graveyard, which is not too far away, and then do the burial there. Some people, because they didn't agree with praying in the masjid, pray in the car park. Because remember, you don't have to prostrate or bow down. Some people, they pray outside the masjid, right, because they don't believe in praying in a masjid, because the Janazah was never done in a masjid, and they say that the body shouldn't be brought into the masjid as well. So they leave the body outside. The body has to be there. The imam goes outside and they pray the Janazah outside, and then they take the body to the graveyard. So it's ideal to have the Janazah at the graveyard, to be honest, like to one side of the graves, not like in front of them. They usually have empty land space. Do the Janazah in that area and then do the burial straight away. That's the ideal situation. More common is you do the Janazah in the masjid or outside the masjid. I've been to several where they do it outside as well. Most commonly they do it within the masjid, right in the prayer hall, and then they take the body for burial. I hope that answers your question. Okay, it says here the Janazah must be carried out in an open place, doesn't it, for funeral prayers. It says must because that was what it should be, because that's what it should be. The deceased must be physically present before the imam for the Janazah to be valid. So the imam has to stand behind the deceased, or as in face the deceased. How does the imam face the deceased? As the imam may stand before the face of the deceased if a male, and the chest if a female. So the imam the body will be placed with the deceased facing the Qibla, by the way, right? And the imam will stand parallel to the face, or the body itself. Anyway, parallel to the body is fine, in line with the body is fine. And if there's multiple, then you line them up one after the other, and they're all in the line of the imam. And you can pray multiple janazah. And all your intention is I'm praying janazah for all the deceased in front of me, and you do the same process, same dua as normal. Carrying the bier, it should be carried to the grave. Silence should be maintained. It is just like we said before, the deceased is placed into the grave, because the procession should be of males here, of course, right? And normally they wouldn't have the bier thing, the casket box thing, right? What they'd have is the body on a piece of like wood, like a stretcher type thing, right? And in the coffin, and they'd have it secured as well so it wouldn't fall off, etc. And they'd carry it on their shoulders. And what they do, they actually pass on to each other. You carry the body, you carry the deceased, the actual deceased on this platform is called janazah, by the way. So you carry the janazah, that's what it's called in Arabic. So you carry the janazah, some say janazah and is the prayer, and jinaza is what you carry, like the kasra and fatha, right? It's Arabic. So you carry the janazah, and you walk 40 steps and you pass on to somebody else, and you pass on. So you're not going to be carrying all the way. And if you want to go to the front again and take a second turn and so forth, and this way the body is being passed on, and everybody's getting a chance to carry for 40 steps. And obviously the graveyard, in the traditional sense, would have been a few meters away, like 20, 30 meters, the grave of the deceased. Now, if we did that, it'd be a couple of miles before you got there. So what do? They lift it from the janazah to the car, and then they drive the car, what's the name of the car, special name? Hearse. And they take it to the graveyard, and they obviously park it up somewhere, and they carry it to the grave. That's the only chance you get to carry it, but that's how it should be done now in our day and age. Whilst it's being brought to the graveyard, to the grave itself, and everybody should be ready, stood up. Why? Anything would happen. They might need the space to move into where you're standing, sitting down. They might need to help, right? It might be something that happens. So always be ready to help. So don't be just sat down waiting for things to happen. Be alert and ready, which is a rule in life, really, as well, isn't it? It says loud dhikr is considered makruh. It says here the fatwa is we do not speak out if it is being done, nor encourage it if not being done. And this is something I've heard from my teachers as well. That if doing dhikr out loud with the janazah being transported is not from the sunnah. But if the people are doing it, it's better to leave them alone and them to be productive in their time by remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The actual sunnah on the way to do this is to remember Allah silently. Silently as into yourself, as you're walking with the janazah on the way there. Remember Allah, you're supposed to take a lesson and admonition from the whole procession that we're going to bury somebody. So what often happens, people start talking and discussing each other and this, that, and the other. So doing the dhikr out loud helps them, to remember Allah and avoid futile conversation. So if they happen to be doing something like doing it out loud, leave them. And if they're doing it silently, you don't have to encourage them, say, oh, let's do loud dhikr. Just leave it, right? Let people, go on the procession as they are. But if somebody does it out loud, don't argue with them. If they're not doing it out loud, don't say, why are you doing dhikr for? Just leave it. So grave and burial. We've discussed this. I don't know if the ladies discussed this, but the guys we've discussed the whole burial thing in our practical. But the sunnah is the lahad, which is on the board. Actually, we did a diagram for the brothers. The lahad is a parchment made in the grave. So over there, ladies probably can't see it. The left diagram is the shaq. You might be able to see it on your way out, which is basically just in the ground. That's a shaq. It was diagram would be nice. No, there's no Q&A next. There's no diagrams. But a shaq is when you just dig into the ground. There's no the right slide. And that is what is going to happen to us all. We're going to be buried in a grave, which is just straight down. Your beer gets placed in there. You get slabbed over, and the soil comes on top. That's what's going to happen for us. In the olden days, they went down, right, and they dug a parchment or a chamber in the grave, very small, for the body to be placed there. And they turned the body towards the Qibla. So that would be towards the Qibla, that side. That's the side of the Qibla. And then they would put a slab there to protect the body, and they'd fill the grave. So there would be no soil placed on top of the body. The soil would be placed in the grave, empty grave. The body would be in a chamber in the bottom, facing the Qibla. So you turn the body sideways. The body would be on the side. Nowadays, they just turn the face sideways, okay, to the Qibla, right. The body is very this way. Qibla is that way. You turn the face sideways, fully like that. Slide towards the right, it's facing towards the Qibla. The person facing sort of like that, right? Listen to the adhan.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
So in the last 10 minutes or so, before we go to Salat al-Asr, let's quickly go through the grave and burial. I've kind of gone through it with the brothers, but we'll go through it again. Like I said, the lahad is not possible in the UK, we discussed it with the brothers. If in the UK the grave prepared is a slab grave, which means straight down the slab it, the slab should be smeared with mud if this is type of grave is to be used, as anything baked by fire should not be on the inside of the grave. What that means is that when they put these slabs on, underneath them put some soil or mud on them, just so that the area around the body is not something that has been touched with fire. So bricks even included in that, yes.
Can you use wood for slab?
Yes, if it's wood, fine, it's not being touched by fire, that would require the mud to be placed there. The deceased is to be placed in the grave with the words in the name of Allah and upon the religion of the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The deceased is placed in facing the direction of the Qibla. So there'll be people in the today's days there aren't people in the grave, they just low with the ropes things, right? But normally there'd be some people standing in the grave receiving the body, because it would just be the coffin, there would be nothing else. There'd be coffin and the body basically, and they'd take the body and they'd lower it and they'd place it into the lahad, right? So they take it from they'd be facing the Qibla themselves, the deceased would be passed to them from the Qibla side, they'd lower the body and tilt it forwards that way into that sort of parchment that was made, and then they'd slab that up, right? They'd put, slab it up as in they'd put like something there to protect it, like stones or something, right? Not like these slabs we have today. I'm saying slab it up as in they'd fix it up with something, and then they'd get out of the graves themselves. So they wouldn't step on the body or top of where the grave is. They'd receive it and place it in the parchment, and then they'd fill the rest of the grave with soil basically. But that's not what's done today. Now what's done is your casket thing is lowered, there is some kind of cover, ceiling is made to it, right? Like wooden or otherwise, and then on top of that the soil is put on, which is how it's going to be for most of us, I reckon. Then it says the loosening knots that may have been tied. So when we talked about those knots, when the deceased is lowered, they should be loosened. They can be loosened while in the grave as well. It's probably ideal to loosen them before lowering the body. The grave is to be filled with soil and made into a heap, similar to the heap on top of a camel, and not flattened. So don't completely flatten it, leave a slightly height to it so it's recognized as a grave and not flat land. Surah Baqarah is recited from Alif Lam Mim until Muflihun on the head side. So you recite from the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah, Alif Lam Mim Dhalik al-Kitab, all the way to Ulaika hum Muflihun at the head of the grave. Then somebody else at the foot of the grave reads the last 3 ayat, Lillahi ma fi samawati ma fi al-ard wa in tubdu, to the end of Surah Al-Baqarah at the foot side of the grave, as it says. And after that, somebody makes dua, Imam Sahib, Hafiz Sahib, an individual, a son, an uncle, anybody there. And then everybody disperses after the dua, that's it. Once the dua is done, it's all over. All the rights have been fulfilled of the deceased, and it's done. There are some other things which are mentioned, and it says here, to sit beside the grave for the period takes a sort of a camel, to give talqeen, it's not clear on there, but talqeen is just about visible, is to instruct the deceased. To instruct the deceased. Is that azan again? Otherwise you need to go pray. So I think there are 2 azans that we
That's Mufti Sahib does that.
Okay. You didn't hear the first one.
He's not seen it.
Must
So he didn't see the Mu'adhan, so...
Okay. Time to flip this week. That's it. So talqeen, what's talqeen? Talqeen means to instruct. And this is something practiced by some people and not by others.